Okay, so the first thing is the octave licks. That's these. What am I doing here? So there were 4 of those. That's what it says, octaves 4 times. So once, twice, 3, 4. Then I wrote as a note for myself to remind me that there's 4 licks there. The first one is. Second one's the same. Third one is this. The fourth one is. Then we go into this little E7 sharp 9 thing, which is this. G, A, E7 sharp 9, G, A. So in the intro, at the end of the intro, you played that twice. Now when the verse starts, you play that 3 more times. Purple haze in my brain. Lately things don't seem the same. One more time. Acting funny, but I don't know why. Then you hit it and stop. Excuse me, while I kiss the sky. Then the octave licks. So that was the verse. The E7 sharp 9, G, A 3 times. Then we hit that E7 sharp 9 one last time and did the octave lick. That's what that's telling you to do. Just in like a little shorthand, kind of reminding you what to do. Now we do another one of those verses. So we do all of that again. Purple haze all around. Don't know if I'm coming up or down. Am I happy in misery? Whatever it is, that girl's put a spell on me. Then it says pre-solo licks, which are these ones. So that was the pre-solo licks. And then we do a solo. Now look, for us, we're not going to bother learning the exact solo in the song or even those chords. We're just going to play another verse for the solo, okay?
But here, hold on a second. So you did, the D was all the way at that 14, I can't see the music in front of me, but the D was that 14, 15 at the end, right?
Right, yep. Yeah, so don't even worry about what the chords are there. That's what the bass player has to play. Just play those pre-solo licks and you're good to go for that part of the song. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Okay, now for the solo, what we're going to do to just make this a little easier so you don't have to do any more stuff is just play a verse there. That's typically what a solo usually is over, is like a verse or a chorus. And that's what we're going to do. We're just going to play this verse again. Play it again. Do the exact same thing you did for a verse. That's going to be our solo. Cool?
Okay.
And then we're going to go back and play intro, and there's a little note there that says don't play the octaves. So don't do this part.
Right.
Don't do that. Go right into it. Cool?
Yeah,
and then
there's no octaves except for the beginning of the song, right?
Right. Yep.
Okay.
And then we're just doing another verse. Now what happens there is he just kind of solos and it fades out. Cool? So we're going to do another verse, another intro, another verse, another pre-solo, and we're going to do another little solo. And at that point you do a little solo over the pentatonic scale. So we do something like this. Here's the verse. And I do like a little. And we kind of end on that and be done. That's what we usually do when we play Purple Haze live.
What in that solo, the E, the F, what is that?
That's why I said don't do that. Don't worry about that. Don't do it. Just play the verse instead. Okay? Don't do that. Not for now.
So don't play the solo, you're saying?
We're going to play the solo. Instead of playing those chords, we're just going to play the verse part. Cool?
So you're not playing the solo, you're playing the verse in lieu of the solo E.
Yeah. Yeah, just so you don't have to learn another part there. You don't need that. It'll be a perfectly fine jam over the verse. Cool?
I guess. Okay.
I do it all the time when I'm playing the song. You know, I'll grab, like if I'm just jamming over it and I'm like, I'm using a looper or something, I don't have time to grab another chord progression. I'll just play the verse. It happens all the time. Cool?
All right. Can you bring up the actual tab? I want to show you the bottom that I'm unsure about. So the 1412. So I'm sliding here, right?
Yep.
I'm sliding from 9 to 11, and then just doing that, and I'm sliding from the 12 to the 14, and then doing the 12.
Yep.
And then help me with the 14, 15.
We're not doing that. That's where we're going to stop. That's where he's going to play another verse, okay?
So where am I stopping?
Right from 14, 12, 15. This is going to be our pre-solo section. You do the 11, what you just explained. 11, 9, 12, 14, 12, 15. That's our pre-solo, and that's all we're doing, okay?
Okay, then scroll down.
Don't worry about any of that other stuff. Don't worry about any of that other stuff. We're done at that point. Just
So the song's done at that. So all this.
This is just all more versions of how we did the verse and stuff. So just like, see, here's your E7 sharp 9, and there's a little bit of the G chord, and there's a little bit of the A chord. He kind of had a funny fingering for it there, but don't worry about that.
All right, yeah, because I was asking about that 3, 4, 5, and I was trying to figure it out.
Don't worry about it. See, there's your little octave lick. Just don't worry about that. Play the one you've got and do that. You've got too many things already. We don't want this song to take 7 more months by looking at every single little detailed variation of every single chord and note that you play. Okay? Is that cool?
All right.
I mean, we can if you want. It's just going to be a... It's going to be a...
I'm having a hard enough time just putting all the pieces together.
Right.
So that it sounds decent.
And so does this sound cool? I mean, does it make sense how this chart works? This is something we all do to kind of remind ourselves the order of a song. So when I go out on stage, I'll usually have a little book of these things sitting on top of the amp or on a music stand or something. I'm constantly watching those, so I'm not going, wait a second, what's next, and I mess it up, or where's the break? Is it here? What do I do now? Am I supposed to start taking a solo? That's what we do, is we write this stuff out, and you just kind of write it down the page, So, what a lot of people do is they'll go intro, verse, pre-solo, solo, intro, verse, pre-solo, and that's the order, right? All I did here was kind of define each of those things a little more. So the intro has those octaves, and you play the 4 main licks, the 4 main intro licks, and then you do some of the E7 and the G and A, you do that 2 times. And then when you play the verse, you have that same E7 sharp 9, G and A, but you do it 3 times. Then you hit the E7 sharp 9 one last time, you stop, and you play the octave licks. Cool?
Okay. And then what's the A, B, D again, the pre-solo?
You're going to play what's written on the page, what you practiced, what you just talked me through in the tab. That was this section that we marked out, the slide up to 14, slide to 14, 12, 15. Cool?
So how do I know that by looking at it? How would I know without...
You don't. That's what you're learning right now. You're learning, we're defining those parts and saying, look, this is what those things are, and this is the order you put them in.
So if you said to me, play this pre-solo licks, I wouldn't know where to look on that tab for that.
No, not yet. It's not labeled like that. But in general, every song is going to be like this. You're going to have a verse and usually a chorus, and then there might be like a little solo, and there's almost always like a bridge, and maybe an outro, that sort of thing. So you'll get more and more used to seeing this. Every song is going to be very much the same. When you did Satisfaction, you see we had it written out like that.
Okay.
When we wrote Satisfaction, that was written out as a chart, and we just wrote in the parts for what each of those. Here's the intro, then here are the chords that you play for the verse, and here's the chords that you play for the chorus. Right. And then you just do all those again over and over and over. You do it 8 times, you stop for the drums, and you just do it again twice, and then you play that verse and the chorus again, then you stop, and it's the same thing every time. And that's the way songs are. This one's a little more complicated. And so what we're doing is we're chopping down one little section here for the solo. Instead of doing the solo, just play a verse, and that'll make things easy. Okay?
Okay. All right.
When you're playing in a band and when you're arranging songs, you do, as long as you're all doing the same agreed thing, like in Sunshine of Your Love, you did that. In that song, he starts out and he does like 4 of that main lick, then he plays the verse. And every time he does the verse and the chorus, he does that main lick like a different time. The second time he does it, I think he does it once. Third time he doesn't do it at all. Last time he does it like twice. Every single time that he's doing that, like when we play that live, we just all go like, let's just play it like twice, and that way we don't mess it up, And as long as the band is all doing the same thing, you're good to go. Make sense? It may have turned out that when they were recording that, they recorded the bass, maybe the bass player got it wrong and just, they just said, okay, well, we're doing it once here and now we're doing it 4 times here and now we're not doing it at all, because he kind of maybe screwed up a little bit when he was making the recording, and that's how that worked out, And maybe every time when they play that live, they decide to do it however many times they're going to do it. As long as they're all together, they're good. Cool?
What I'm saying is, but there's nothing that I could actually read that
No,
says
not yet.
An octave, a certain section.
No.
Okay.
That's why I made this video, so that you have a label for each of those parts, okay? Because this was just a quick chart that I wrote out for me to use at some gig a long time ago to remind myself what this is. Because I've done this with something like 15,000 songs at this point in my life. I always do that. When we play a show, when I do a gig, I always have these charts, and I have all the top 500,000 songs that I see all the time charted out like this. So if I have to go back and play something I played 10 years ago, I don't have to re-listen to the song 20 times. I've got the order,
I know. Yeah, because I have a hard time putting the order together. Right.
That's
I
what this is for.
listened to it live. When I was listening to him play, I couldn't understand what where I was supposed to be. He was,
right.
I was getting right.
So follow this. That's what this is about. That's why, and you got to get used to doing this with every song. Now that you're getting more into being able to play things all the way through, you want to do this with every tune. The ones we've done so far have been really straightforward. We just said, just do this over and over again. But every song you do now is not going to be that simple. We need a chart for it. Cool?
Okay. All right. I think about it.
Let me put that here.